Hi, I wanted to share with you what main lesson books are and where you can find them. They're the main notebook that are used in Waldorf homeschools and in Waldorf schools. I keep mine in these magazine folders that I picked up from IKEA years ago. They still have them these days, but they're just a different style. So I covered the exterior of mine with some premium construction paper, and I also added these little metal label holders, and you can just slip in like your little label, and they're adhesive so they stick onto the outside of the magazine folders really easily. I picked them up from Staples a few years ago, and I think they're the Martha Stewart brand. So I keep all of these folders in a bookcase that's also from IKEA, and this sits right behind my desk in my schoolroom, so it holds a lot of the supplies that we need on a daily basis, and they're pretty easy to get to. So the bookcase is from IKEA. It's an Expedit bookcase. They don't currently carry these anymore, but you can get the Calyx, which is really similar to this one. And it holds these folders perfectly. Now these ones that are kind of this lavender bluish color, that's the kind that they have currently. They're two for $5, and they're a lot more sturdy than the ones that they used to carry, and they already have a little metal holder to put a label on them. So I have about 3 of these filled with different kinds of main lesson books that I've picked up online or that I've made myself. So I'm going to show you the different kinds and where you can find them. And these are some of the ones that I made. Okay, so this first set here has the main lesson books that I picked up from waldorfsupplies.com, and they come in a variety of colors and different styles. So this one is green on the exterior, and on the inside it's been formatted for printing or handwriting. So you have kind of a larger line, and it runs horizontal, and it's great for beginners. This next one has lines and blank pages. So it alternates from having lined pages and then blank pages. So this is great for an older student. The lines are smaller, and the whole book itself is small compared to some of the other main lesson books. And these are great for, say, maybe 5th grade and up, or maybe junior high. And they come in a variety of colors as well, and the binding is just stapled in, so it's easy to have it lay open completely. So these ones, the sizes for these ones are 8 by 10 inches. And here are some of the larger ones, and they also come in these beautiful colors, red, orange, yellow, green, and blue, I think. There might be a purple, but I haven't ever picked up a purple one. And they're also just stapled. And they're sturdy, they're well made. The paper on the interior is heavier than print paper. It's, I think, about the weight of drawing paper, maybe 70 pounds. And these ones just have blank pages inside. They don't have any lines, and they are either landscape or portrait. So this one is the portrait configuration, and it's 9 by 12 inches. And this is great for a younger student. And then the other configuration is 12 inches by 9 inches. And so these are great for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade, when there's going to be a lot more drawing going on, or rather a larger drawing and less writing, because you're going to be using either crayon to write or a larger color pencil, and so there's not going to be a lot of writing. So this is great for an older student. This one has a spiral bound. It has lines on one side and then blank pages on the other side. And it doesn't come with a whole lot of pages, actually. And this is 8.5 by 11. And I just want to compare the smaller notebook versus this one. The lines for the ones that are spiral bound are a little bit larger, and they're a little bit darker. But they still come with 1 page with lined and 1 page with blank, so that you can have your drawing and then your text on the other side. So this one's great for math. It's just a grid, and the size of this particular notebook is 8 by 10 inches. And none of the notebooks come with a ton of pages, which is nice, because the main lesson units only run maybe 6 weeks or 8 weeks before you start a different main lesson, and so it's nice to not have so many extra pages left behind. This one is great for a music class. I'm not musically inclined, and I never used these ones. I had aspirations, but I never followed through with them. But they're also available. So this is kind of an example of what I'm doing with some of these main lesson books. This is for nature science. We haven't used this one yet, and this one just has blank pages, and I just cut out a little title there. And before I got my Silhouette Cameo and I was making those kinds of intricate cuts, I was just printing labels out on some paper and then cutting them down, and I ran them through my sticker machine to put adhesive on the backside. So here are some of the other colors that you can get from the spiral bound notebooks. Now these are ones that I've either, my kids have either started or used, or maybe they've used a few pages and then we either didn't complete the unit using this main lesson book, or we were done with the unit and still had pages left over. So for this one, for instance, I removed the pages, so there's less pages in here than what would normally come in that notebook, but then I can reuse it. I just stored the papers in, some files that I kept samples of their work in. So this is one for botany that my son began, and then this one is for geometry. This was back about 5 years ago with my oldest son. We've since started a new geometry unit with my with my 8th grader currently, and so what's nice about these pages is that you've got some line pages for writing about what the child has learned, and then you have some blank pages so that you can do a drawing or a diagram on the one side. And so for this one, I also removed a couple of the pages, and then we just have that ready to go for another unit. And same with this one. That's why you can see a little bit of like torn pieces on the very front cover where I had labels. Okay, so these ones are the ones that I made using some drawing paper and some of that premium construction paper on the exterior. I took it over to my office supply store and I had them bind it with these spiral coils, and then this one is a comb coil. And I've since purchased my own binding machine, so in the future I just plan to make my own. But at the time I had made a ton of them, not knowing how many I was going to need, and so I just had I had them ready to go. And these ones are great because they lay flat, and I just used blank pages on all of them. I used drawing paper, and so the paper was heavy enough to hold color pencils and even some pastels if I wanted to. So I made them about 11 by 9 inches, not exactly, but and here's some of the drawing paper that I used. I just took whatever I had on hand and cut it down to size. So this is what the construction paper looks like. I picked it up from Michael's. It's by Canson. The label's been worn down because I bought this quite a few years ago. And it's approximately 20 inches by 25 inches. And then what I did was I purchased probably about 10 or 15 different sheets, and then I took the whole stack over to my office supply store, and I had them cut it down to this size, which is, I basically got 4 pieces out of every one of those pieces of construction paper. And then I could then take my drawing paper, have them cut it down to size, and then just use 2 pieces of construction paper, front and back, and that way I could make my own main lesson book. So I've just recorded a couple of videos on how you can make your own main lesson book, so keep a lookout for those. They're going to be posted the next couple of days. And in the meantime, here's a little sneak peek at some of the books that I've made. Okay guys, thanks for watching.